What's up, YouTube? Pumpkinlord here, coming at you with another battle video. This is my second video. I do apologize for the low quality, but like I mentioned in my first video, I did order a capture card, and it actually arrived today, so I'm really excited about that. Now, I've been practicing for the Houston Regionals a lot lately, but I thought I'd show you guys this video. It's from the International June wifi challenge, and the team I brought was Azumarill, Hydreigon, Mawile, Rotom Heat, Ferrothorn, and Aerodactyl. Now, instead of the regular Belly Jet set for the Azumarill, I opted for a Choice Banded set running Play Rough, Aqua Jet, Waterfall, and Superpower. My opponent's from Texas, where I'm actually from as well. He went with Gardevoir, Garchomp, Bisharp, Rotom Wash, Charizard, and Gyarados. Now, the four I go with in this match are Azumarill, Hydreigon, Aerodactyl, and Mawile, while he goes with Gyarados, Bisharp, Garchomp, and Rotom Wash. I wasn't too sure who he was going to lead with, and so I was going over in my head like who I should actually lead with. I end up going with my Azumarill and my Hydreigon, while my opponent goes with his Bisharp and his Gyarados. The Intimidate on the Gyarados firing off is going to lower the attack stat on my Azumarill, which kind of scared me a little bit. Lowering the attack stat on my Hydreigon, not too worried about that. Now, I was pretty sure the Gyarados could outspeed both my Pokemon, and that his Bisharp was carrying a Steel-type move, which is super effective against my Azumarill since it's Fairy-type, and that the Gyarados probably carried Ice Fang, which would be super effective on my Hydreigon. So I was kind of choosing what to do in this first turn, maybe the safest route. As you see, he does outspeed both my Pokemon and goes with the Dragon Dance, boosting both its attack and speed. Pretty scary. I do a risky move, and I go ahead and use a Fire Blast on his Bisharp, and it reveals its Sash. The Bisharp Swords Dance, so my opponent essentially double danced on the field, and I use Play Rough on his Gyarados. Despite the Intimidate, it brings his Gyarados down into the low yellow, so my opponent is actually one sashed down to a sliver of red and one to the low yellow. I'm pretty happy about this, since both my Pokemon are still in full green. On this next turn, my opponent decides to Mega Evolve with his Gyarados. That's going to reveal his Mold Breaker. And he actually uses Sucker Punch with his Bisharp onto my Hydreigon. I guess just to do a little bit of chip damage. It does a lot more than just chip damage, actually, and it takes it down about to 50%. His Gyarados using that Earthquake, and since the Mold Breaker, it's going to take my Hydreigon down into the red. But it actually takes his own Bisharp out. Kind of a risky move. I did target the Bisharp with that Fire Blast that turn, but since he did take his own Bisharp out, it connects with the Gyarados, and it brings it down even lower, but not KOing it. It actually avoids my Play Rough on my Azumarill. Really fortunate for my opponent, since if it did connect, he would have been down to 2-4. My opponent trying to decide who he actually wants to throw in at this point. He goes with his Garchomp, and now he knows that I'm locked into Fire Blast, most than likely, unless I'm carrying something crazy. But since I'm not, I am locked into Fire Blast, and he knows this, so he can take advantage of that information. Fire Blast really not affecting Gyarados or Garchomp really at all. Now, I do have Play Rough with my Azumarill that could harm his Garchomp. So I was thinking if I left in my Hydreigon, I would for sure lose it this turn to the Garchomp most than likely, or even maybe to the Gyarados, but if I switched in, it might be a little bit better of a choice. So I do. I switch in, and I go with my Aerodactyl. revealing there. The Gyarados actually goes with the Waterfall into my Azumarill, bringing it down to the low yellow, and then he uses the Rock Slide. It would have hit both my Pokemon, obviously, but my Aerodactyl gets the Avoid. It takes my Azumarill out. It's a really good choice for my opponent to target my Azumarill with that Waterfall, because then it was able to take it out with the Rock Slide from the Garchomp. Trying to decide who to throw in here. I could either go with my Mawile or my Hydreigon, who has just a sliver of red health left. And since my opponent has 2 physical attackers out, I go with the obvious choice of Mawile. It's Intimidate firing off and lowering the attack of both Garchomp and Gyarados. So now they're both a little bit less threatening. But still, that Garchomp has Earthquake, so it could do a number to my Mawile. Although my Aerodactyl would be immune to that since it's flying. I go ahead and Mega Evolve on this turn because there's no really reason not to. I don't really need to save the Intimidate at this point at all. And the Gyarados actually goes for another Dragon Dance. So at this point, that thing's just a monster. If it connected with any of my Pokemon, it would take it out in one hit for sure. Since the Aerodactyl is very speedy, it gets off the Rock Slide first, and it actually feints that Gyarados. I'm not sure if it would have been a better choice to do an attacking move with that Gyarados for him. He goes with the Earthquake with his Garchomp, and it's going to take my Mawile down to below 50%. But I do get that Play Rough off, and it's just going to demolish that Garchomp with that Fairy weakness. So now the game is 3-1. My opponent has 1 Pokemon left. So he throws in his Rotom. My Mawile being down into the low yellow, it's in risk of being taken out by a Thunderbolt from that Rotom. But I know I can just get a Rock Slide off onto the Rotom Wash and get it down to a pretty low amount. It does get the Thunderbolt off on my Mawile and takes it out. So now I'm down to 2, and one of them being my Hydreigon, which is down with just a sliver of red health. So as you can see, this matchup that it looked like that I was doing pretty well in kind of turned around. I'm down to 2 with 1 down in the red sliver, and it's in risk of taking that Thunderbolt. I just Rock Slide again to get that Rotom as low as possible and actually fish for a flinch. It doesn't happen though, and he does get the Thunderbolt off on my Hydreigon, which takes it out. It had no chance really. If he would have Thunderbolt my Aerodactyl, there was a chance it might have taken it out, but I would have just gotten the Draco Meteor onto his Rotom, and that would have taken it out for sure. So my Aerodactyl is going to obviously outspeed. It gets the Rock Slide off, and it actually ends up being enough to take out that Rotom. So I was able to take the win here, but as you can see, just how matches can go back and forth. It really looked like that I had the... it really seemed like that I had the advantage there, but he got me down to 1-1 with an Aerodactyl versus a Rotom Wash. And he could have very well turned it around if maybe he avoided one of my attacks or something like that. You never know. So I was able to get the win on this. It was a really fun match, and I'll come back to you guys with more battles from the June International Challenge as well as from the May. I had different teams on both those challenges, so it'll be pretty fun to show you guys. Like I said, I did get my capture card in today, so I'll be able to bring you guys some higher quality videos. So stay tuned from Pumpkinlord VGC. Peace out, guys.